Welcome one and all to the first Reluctant Disney Adult FastCast of the 2025 season. I'm Amy Wren, the official Reluctant Disney Adult herself. FastCasts, as you already may know, or have already guessed, they're just podcasts. They might have video along with them, but let's not kid ourselves. This is a podcast, but with a Disney reference for a name, so it's all cool, right? Now, before we dive in, let's get our first obligatory spiel out of the way. If you like this FastCast, please be sure to like it on the app. Also, to stay up to date every time a new FastCast short or video are released, go ahead and click the old subscribe button. You liking and subscribing lets us make more great FastCast videos, so even more people can like and subscribe. It's kind of a circle of life, I guess. Also, be sure to visit our Patreon. Paid members will get a whole lot of cool stuff, like access to exclusive posts and videos, early drops of new videos, and a bunch of behind-the-scenes details. In addition, paid members get access to the exclusive Discord, where you get to hang out with me, the Reluctant Disney Adult, and also Cora, the Reluctant Disney Wife. And if you enjoy seeing and hearing your names, Premier members get shout-outs on all of our videos and FastCasts. The URL for the Patreon can be found both in the description of this episode and on the screen right now. Okay, now that the obligations are done, let's get down to the fun. As our first FastCast of 2024 was about the trip to Walt Disney World Cora and I took back in 2023, I figured I would talk about my solo trip last year. Now, though I've been to Walt Disney World many times as both a child and an adult, last year's trip was the first time I've ever gone by myself. I had a great time, but it is definitely a different experience than when you are going with other people. But how so? Well, sit back and relax, and let's get into it all, why don't we? Okay, so my solo trip to Walt Disney World back in 2024. Let's talk about that. Before we say anything else, I probably should talk about the elephant in the room. And, that's being a trans woman traveling to Florida in the year 2024. As you may or may not know, of course, Florida and us trans people don't get along in the sense that the government of Ron DeSantis and the Republican-controlled Congress has been very hostile to trans people living in the state and not too friendly to trans people visiting, what with bathroom bans and a bunch of very draconian laws meant to, basically erase us. So I know you're probably sitting there wondering, did you feel safe traveling to Walt Disney World through Florida in 2024? And the answer is, I didn't have any issues. I was definitely wary driving into the state and driving to Walt Disney World. I drove, I didn't fly. But it was fine. I mean, once I was on Walt Disney World property, I really wasn't worried. There were no issues. It all worked well. And I mean, I would suspect that if I went there this year, even though, the government's basically become what it was in Florida is now what it is in the federal government, I would imagine it would be just as safe for me, at least in Walt Disney World. I also have to say that in all of my travels, since I came out in 2019, I have not ran into any issues with anybody in the bathrooms or anywhere really. That's probably luck more than anything else, but it's the way it's gone. So let's move on from that. Anyway, so like I said, I went on a solo trip to Disney World back in at the end of April and the beginning of May 2024. I went there because I wanted to go back, but also because I wanted to get, images and video of various things. I had a whole plan. The plan basically fell apart the moment I got there. And I remember how much effort and exertion you have to do just to, get from your resort to the parks and to Disney Springs and so on and so forth. And yeah, that I still got a lot of photos, a lot of video, and all told, it was a great trip. A big part of it was the Disney dining plan. I chose that for my trip. I did the full plan, which I was a one sit down meal, one quick service meal, and one snack. You look at that and it says, well, you're missing a meal or whatever. Is that enough food? And yeah, it's enough food. In fact, I had some trouble actually using all of my credits on it because that one sit down meal a day is a hard thing to keep up. It's a lot harder than you'd think it would be, just because some of those days you don't feel like having a full sit down meal, because Disney sit down meals, there can be a lot of food, especially if it's like one of the buffets, or if it's just they can be a lot of food, one of the family style restaurants. And the biggest thing that I ran into there was each of those meals came with a dessert. You couldn't use it as an appetizer, not usually. A few restaurants, maybe they would let you slide with that. But most of them, it was a dessert. And, it was a full dessert. And, again, if you've been to Disney World, you know what I'm talking about. A full dessert is a full dessert. And that thing will knock you on your ass. And that's what I ran into in a lot of cases. I didn't need that. I was overheated because of, being an idiot who is out in the sun when she shouldn't have been. So when you're not feeling that hungry, you're not going to really feel like going to a sit down restaurant. That being said, I did end up going to several sit down restaurants and had some good meals, a good breakfast, a good lunch, and a couple good dinners, all told. And that being said, if I were to do it again, I don't think I would do the full Disney dining plan. It just does not really work for me. Just too much food. I might do the limited one, which I don't know if that's how it still works here in 2025. But there's the limited dining plan, which gives you a quick service and a snack, which makes some sense. But all told, I think it's just not worth it. It's nice to have that already paid, so you don't have to budget that money. You don't have to worry about things being more expensive than what you thought they would. You already paid for it, kind of thing. There's some niceness to that, but you're not going to save money. Not really. Not unless like you do it to save the money, and then what's the point? You're not really doing it to have fun or eating where you want to. You're just trying to maximize the benefit, which does not sound like a fun vacation to me in any way, shape, or form. It just sounds like you trying to solve that puzzle, and I don't know, it sounds like work. So yeah, I would skip the dining plan. But beyond that, one of the big things that I did was the Magic Kingdom After Hours event, which I don't know if you know about that. Basically, during the winter and the spring, uh, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot on different nights will have these events where they'll close at 10 o'clock for the general admission, but then they'll have special events that go from 10 o'clock to 1 in the morning that they'll have like basically they're limited engagement, limited tickets. And you'll be able to ride most of the rides. A lot of the shows, like hall presence and stuff like that, tend to close. But a lot of the rides are still open. They'll have like a special fireworks show. They might have like rare walk around characters or entertainment at different places. And then it includes popcorn and sodas and water and ice cream bars. All you care to eat. They have little stands set up throughout the parks where you can pick those up. So I went to the event, and honestly, it was a lot of fun. It's nice being in the park when there's not so many people. It creates a kind of quieter atmosphere, but not like so quiet that it was downright spooky in most of the areas. Like there was still a crowd, but it wasn't like crowded. Of course, I didn't like ride the Tron light cycle on account of being big and not wanting to wait in a line for like 60 minutes. So, I mean, it was a good time. The second fireworks show was one of their older fireworks shows that I think, not having visited very much between, 2011 and 2023, the show I didn't have any emotional connection to, but it seemed like it was a really good show. So yeah, it was nice. Would I do it again? Maybe. I mean, it's an additional price on top of already the tickets and hotel and that. I definitely would like to check out the if I ever get a chance, one of the Halloween parties or one of the holiday parties, which kind of works the same way. They're obviously more themed, have much bigger events attached to them because they're, themed to those holidays. But it still kind of fits in the same niche. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, in the middle of that, I think it was earlier that day of the party, the after hours event. I spent some time at the Contemporary, which is, I've never stayed at the Contemporary. I've never spent any time at the Contemporary. So I spent time there. I ate at the Steakhouse 71 down on the lower level, which was a good lunch. I just kind of walked around. I walked around the concourse, took a picture of the big Mary Blair mural that's in the concourse, the big tall mural that, is in the Mary Blair style, which... if you're not familiar with Mary Blair, think It's a Small World. Kind of has that look to it. I went outside where they have, it's an area where there's seats for like you can watch the fireworks at night, but it's right under where the monorail goes into the Contemporary, and took some photos and video, and it was neat. I was thinking I was going to just hang out in that area, but I decided I was kind of feeling tired, and I went back and took a nap, and then at my hotel, the Pop Century, which I'll talk about a little bit after this. But I don't know, it was neat. Um, I'm glad I did that. I wish I had had more wherewithal to get to more hotels that I've never been to. Like I've spent a little bit of time at, even though I have never stayed there, at like the boardwalk, a little bit at the beach club. Went to Beaches and Cream there. Of course, we talked about that in our in the FastCast last year when Cora and I took our trip. Um, but no, it was nice. I'm glad I had a chance to do that. And let's see. Oh, the next day after I did it wasn't the next day. The next day I went to Disney Springs. I hung out at Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar for a bit, which was nice. Just kind of having some drinks and having some chips and queso, I think, um, and just watching like the people in the amphicar out in the lagoon there at Disney Springs. It was a nice casual day after, I mean, I'd been out till well after 1 in the morning, uh, getting back to Pop Century from the Magic Kingdom. So I didn't do a lot that day. I ended up having dinner at the Irish restaurant there at Disney Springs, which again, they have a whole big bread pudding dessert that was great, but also gigantic. And then I went back to Pop Century, and that was basically my day. Was kind of taking it easy, going to Disney Springs. I think I may have driven around, like I drove through Disney Springs area, ended up driving around and driving back through the connection that takes you by Grand Floridian, just kind of driving around and checking things out. Uh, Not a whole lot about that day, to be honest. Um, but then the next day after that, I went in the late morning to Magic Kingdom, where I was going to eat one of my dinner plan meals, which was a lunch at Liberty Tree Tavern, which, to be honest, it was not my preference to do lunch. I would have much rather done like a later dinner there, because I mean, it's this family style like Thanksgiving dinner. Like it's turkey and there's like some kind of roast, and there's mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese. Um, there's a salad and rolls and this whole big, wonderful toffee dessert, and it was great. It was a great meal, and of course it's family style. But since I was there solo, it's basically just a big meal. It wasn't really family style. It was just a plate with food on it. I guess if I wanted more, I could have asked for it. I did not need more. I had plenty of food there. And it was great. It was a delicious meal. I had a great time. The problem with that, of course, is it was like 95 degrees outside. And it wouldn't have been so bad in the evening, after the sun was going down or the sun was down. There would have not really been much of an issue with it. But because there was, I don't recommend eating a big meal like that when it's 95 degrees out. I did. I think I went to the Hall of the Presidents in large part because doing anything else other than walking over there and sitting in the air conditioning was not a wise idea at the time. And I came out and it was still obviously 95 degrees and the parade was going on. And then I decided, I sat through that. Then I got on the Liberty Bell Riverboat. Of course, that's gone now as of earlier this month in July 2025. I got on the riverboat and I didn't want to stand out on the deck in the sun because I didn't want to stand. I was starting to feel the effects of, it being hot. And I really should have just retreated. Maybe done what I'd done before. Of course, my usual go-to for sitting and escaping the sun and air conditioning in Frontierland, the Country Bear musical review or whatever they call it now. Obviously, it was Country Bear Jamboree before. They were in the process of turning it into the musical review or whatever it's called now. And I couldn't just sit there and watch the bears. And I didn't really want to go over to the Tiki Birds or anywhere else. I really should have just maybe found somewhere cool and dark and just sat and drank water. And I don't know, maybe some ice cream or something. Just something not whatever I did, which was get on the Liberty Bell Riverboat, which I decided I would sit inside because I wanted to sit down, which I did have a seat. But the inside of the Liberty Bell Riverboat is awful. It's like sitting in an oven. Or it was like sitting in an oven. It was not a great idea. I was not feeling great when I got off of it. I did just walked right off of it, walked across the road across the way to the Columbia Harbor House. And I think they have like a lemon ice there. And I just got that and sat down and just ate it. And yeah, I was feeling it. I was not in the greatest place. The lemon ice helped revitalize me enough that I got on a bus. Because I wanted to spend the evening at Hollywood Studios. And I did. I got to Hollywood Studios and I just felt spent. And I sat down on a bench and got emotional about it because of how spent I was and how I hadn't really spent any time at Hollywood Studios yet. I'd spent a little bit the first day I got in because I had dinner reservation at the Brown Derby. And I'd eaten there that first night at the Brown Derby. I had walked around a bit. That's where I took the Potato Land picture, watched the Vacation Fun Mickey Mouse shorts there, and they have a little photo op area with the Potato Land. Anyway, I use that picture all the time on thumbnails. There's a decent chance that it will be on the thumbnail for this. And that was about all the time I spent, because by the time I had eaten dinner and that, I was just ready to head back, and yeah, that was that. So that was a day that I was going to spend time at Hollywood Studios, and it just, I felt spent. I thought, okay, I'm going to walk over to the Skyliner and ride it to the Caribbean, and then ride to Pop Century and go to my room. But then I don't know. Maybe the lemon ice kicked in, and I was just ready to go. And I went in and I found a second wind. There's a picture. I'm not really going to share it. It's not a great picture because I'm sweaty and bedraggled, and don't really like the picture. But you could see in my body language that I was like, okay, I got that second wind. Let's go. And I didn't ride any rides when I was there, I don't believe. Um, I probably would have done Muppets if it was still open, but I think by that point Muppets had closed down for the night. Like this was starting to get around sunset. Um, so like Muppets was closing down, a lot of stuff was closing down. Um, like I had thought I would go to the Backlot Express for some dinner, but even that was starting to reach like the last half hour before it closed for the night. So I just said, I'm not feeling that hungry. And I just continued on. Again, I didn't ride any rides. So I didn't ride Rise of the Resistance. I didn't ride Smuggler's Run or anything at Toy Story Land. But I did walk through and gather an impression of Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land, which was nice because I on our last trip for various reasons I didn't make it to those two lands, so it was nice to go through there and get a feel for them. Which I'll talk more about that in detail in my Hollywood Studios videos about the two lands, but I mean, Galaxy's Edge looks great. It sounds great, but there's no activity, not really. It just feels inert. And Toy Story Land has some nice theming that's like, it's themed well for what it's trying to do, but unfortunately that means that it's like this horrible sun-filled place during the day, and it's I mean, I was going through it like right at dark, like basically the sun was down when I walked through it, so it's all lit up and the sun's not beating down on you, so it looks wonderful and it looks great at night. But of course everything at Disney World looks great at night. It was great. I walked through. I got a picture taken of me in front of the big, Woody at the other entrance. Not the one that I walked through from Galaxy's Edge, but the one from behind Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Yeah. I mean, it was... I'm glad I did that. I think I went back and I went to the food court at Pop Century and, I don't know, got a little snack pack and some treats. So it wasn't the greatest meal, but it was a decent day. And then the next day of the trip was my Epcot day. I mean, it was a big Epcot day. It was my International Showcase day, which, of course, meant getting there in the early afternoon. I had a dinner reservation at the San Angel restaurant in the Mexico Pavilion. And not too long before that dinner reservation, I was able to get the Genie Plus Lightning Lane for Frozen Ever After. Because there's no way in hell I was going to wait in the line for Frozen Ever After. It was well over an hour that day. And of course, when I got there, or when I was able to get to it, like, all they had left were the later in the day, like, not the latest, but kind of in the evening time for the Lightning Lane. So yeah, So I had several hours to do, and I was in the international showcase. So you better believe, what did I do? I did I drank around the world. Um, Now I didn't do the full thing. I didn't drink an alcoholic drink in every land. I don't think that would have worked out well for me. Basically, the way that I did it is I had to take a drink of something in every land, which meant in some cases, yes, I did buy alcoholic drinks. And in other cases, I bought non alcoholic drinks in the land. And then in a couple cases, I just drank water from my water bottle in the land, and that counted. So I think I drink wine or something at Canada. It might have been a beer of some type, but I think it was some kind of wine at the Canada Pavilion. Like it was uh, the Garden Festival. So they had festival booths with special drinks and food and stuff. So I got the wine there or beer, whatever it was. I just got a pint of beer at the UK beer cart outside of the Rose and Crown. France, the line was too ridiculous for the little uh, wine stand, so I just drank water. I got a non-alcoholic drink at like a little snack stand at the Morocco Pavilion. They gave me a free cookie because it was crumbly. So I had that too. Japan, I ordered an alcoholic beverage, but I'm pretty certain that what they gave me was non-alcoholic. I just drank water at the American Pavilion. I was going to go to the American Adventure. It was broken down, though, at the time. And I was not really wanting a beer at that time. And I also just drank water in Italy. I did get, I think it was like a raspberry radler at the Festival Pavilion in Germany, which was really good. I didn't count the refreshment outpost. I don't think I got anything there. I'm not even sure it was open in that day. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I got a non-alcoholic tea at a tea stand there in the China Pavilion. And then I got some Norwegian beer, like another kind of, I don't know if it had kind of I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a beer and it was tasty. And I drank it waiting for, I drank it, and I don't remember if I went to Mexico after that and then went back to Frozen Ever After, or if I sat there and waited, then did Frozen Ever After, and then went to Mexico. Because I kind of think I went to the Mexico Pavilion next. And I didn't get anything to drink at the Mexico Pavilion because, of course, I was going to be eating, and then I would have a drink with my dinner when I went to the Mexico Pavilion. I did go to the Grand Fiesta Tour, rode that, the ride with the three caballeros, which is always nice. It's nice and cool, and it's one of those Disney dark rides, and the line is never busy. And it wasn't busy that day either. It worked for most of it, but once we got to the end with the big climax with the animatronics, the animatronics from opening day, the Mickey Mouse review that went to Tokyo when the show went to Tokyo, then the animatronics came back when the show closed in Tokyo. They were moving as they were supposed to, but the audio was out. So you're just very slowly going by in the boat as they're clacking around and there's no audio. And it was kind of Creepy, but also kind of funny. Um, and of course, then after that, the boats just kind of like for a while, we were just kind of barely gliding along. Eventually, it came back up, but I mean that happens. I guess fortunately or unfortunately, because it would have been interesting to see if the ride shut down. We had, you know, evacuated. But I think after that, maybe after that, I went back. Again, I'm kind of sketchy on the details. Amy, you really should have, looked all this out before you started this. I know this is the way these go. I'm just kind of going off the cuff here. If the narrative, the timeline is a little skewed or whatever, so be it. That's how we do it here on the Reluctant Disney Adult FastCasts. Um, anyway, I remember being buzzed for both those rides. Had a nice, pleasant buzz. Frozen Ever After is a fun ride if you're a fan of Frozen. I know that there's people out there who really miss Maelstrom, and Maelstrom was a fun ride. I miss the opening where the boat, you know, bounces against the side as it makes the turn over the waterfall. That was always a neat little touch that they patched up for Frozen Ever After. But Frozen After is a nice ride. I wish that Epcot had the top of the line animatronics like they have for the Frozen ride at Hong Kong, or is it? It's Hong Kong, or is it Tokyo? Anyway, I wish they had those animatronics. Um, it would be much nicer if they did. Instead of the ones with the screens that look kind of weird. They look fine on the ride. They only look weird on camera. Honestly. But I mean, I had the meal. It was a good meal. And of course, by the time I was done, I didn't realize that the fireworks were basically right then. The server at the restaurant said you can stay and watch the fireworks if you want. I decided not to because I thought I was going to be able to get around to the other side before the fireworks started to get a head start to the Skyliner. That didn't happen because it was basically like 5 minutes after I left the restaurant was when the fireworks started. So I stayed and watched the fireworks from in front of like the gift shop there on the end opposite from American Adventure there along around the Friendship Lagoon or whatever it's called, which was nice. It was fun being there, and I didn't intend to be there because I wanted to try to get on the Skyliner before the rush. That didn't quite work. I had to wait in line, which was fine. Wasn't as bad as the last time we did that after Beaches and Cream on the 2023 trip. But no, it was a fun time at Epcot. It was nice just walking from pavilion to pavilion, even though a good portion of it was in the middle of the hot sun. So it was kind of like trying to walk from shade to shade and stay out of the sun as much as I possibly could. But no, it was fun. And I mean, here, of course, I stayed at Pop Century, which I really enjoyed it. I mean, of course, it's a value resort. So there's not a lot of frills. I mean, the only restaurant is really the food court, which honestly, I liked the food I had in the food court. I mean, I think I eat like chicken fingers, so we're not talking about elaborate food. I got the little snack pack, and there was a dessert that was really good. I don't know if it was the tie-dye cheesecake. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a good little snack, little dessert. Um, I had like a breakfast bowl or something, like scrambled eggs and the tater tots, the potato barrels. Don't call them tater tots because that is copyrighted. At Disney World, it's potato barrels. Um, I had those and like this sausage gravy. I think there was bacon with it. Maybe it was really good. Um, I had that one or two mornings there. Um, and I mean, the room was nice. I miss the old TV structure, um, with the channel with the horribly compressed, horribly sounding like it's from an old AM radio. Music is gone, and it's been replaced by Josh D'Amaro doing his thing. And that video already in 2024 was like 3 years out of date. Like, it was the video they recorded right after they came back from the pandemic closure. So it's got this weird feel to it, and it's missing multiple attractions that had opened. Like, I think Remy's Ratatouille Adventure was the last one that was being advertised as brand new. So like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and Tron Light Cycle and Tiana's by Adventure. All of those, of course, Tiana's wasn't open when I was there. It would be opening in a couple months after. But none of that was really being talked about. Uh, so it was awkward. But I missed that. I missed having the channel that was just the Timon and Pumbaa safety videos. You can still watch the safety videos, but you can't. The channel's not just playing them on a loop. You have to watch them one at a time, and I did, but it just was not the same. So I guess that's progress for you. They had the little the Hey Mickey, which is basically just an Alexa with Disney theming. I played with it a bit. It was not useful, so I didn't mess with it that much. Obviously, Pop Century's got that wacky theming with all the decades, which I really enjoyed. I I like that theming. I mean, I like the kind of more subtle, like more subtle theming of like Caribbean Beach and of course the Contemporary and the Grand Floridian. Um, all those are nice. But I like that cheesy value resort theming too, with like the big 4-story tall Roger Rabbit was across the way from where my room was in the 80s section. And you know, the bowling pins and the Rubik's Cube stairwells and the 8 tracks and all of that. It's just, it's fun. I like being on the Skyliner again, like we were with the Caribbean Beach. It's not as central, of course, as the Caribbean Beach, but I mean, still, it was nice. It's nice and easy to get to Epcot, nice and easy to get to Hollywood Studios, and of course, all the resorts in those areas. The downside, of course, was waiting in the long line to get on the Skyliner to go from Epcot to Caribbean Beach, and then waiting in another long line because, you know, the backup of people getting to Caribbean Beach and then having to wait again with the people coming from Hollywood Studios to go to Pop Century and Art of Animation on that line. So that was and it shouldn't have been a surprise, but it was kind of a surprise pain in the ass. And I don't know, it's a great little resort. It's not that little, but I enjoyed my time there, and it definitely was a lot cheaper than staying at, anywhere other than the All Stars. But anyway, my final day, I did International Showcase in the afternoon of that one day. So the next day was my, it's not Future World anymore. It's World Celebration, World Nature, and World Discovery. So I did the front part of Epcot the next morning. I went and ate at the Garden Grill, which was a good breakfast. Had a drink. That was nice. Of course, got my picture taken with Farmer Mickey and Chip. Said hi to Dale, or I got the picture with Dale. Said hi to Chip. I don't know if I got a picture taken with all of them, but I mean, it's fun. You get to have the meal, and you're rotating around, and you get to look down and see Living with the Land, the different scenes from that. So that's all nice. It was a great time. I enjoyed Garden Grill, as always. Then, of course, after I got off of that, I went and rode Living with the Land. My favorite ride, which was, good as always. It stopped in the greenhouse, and I think at one point was going backwards because, the water, if it's not moving, it might get sent backwards. I think I also watched the. I think I maybe went to see the movie with. Ty Burrell does the narration, the conservation movie that they have that he does the narration for. I might have watched that before to see if the Living with the Land. I think it had temporarily stopped. But I was able to get on the ride and enjoy it, which is not something that, as you might remember, I was able to get to do on the last trip back in 2023. So it was good that I got that done. I also rode Spaceship Earth. It's always nice getting back there. It's like visiting an old friend. Before, when I went to the Contemporary, that first full day I was there, I had stopped under it, and I don't know, it was emotional because I hadn't had a chance to get to Spaceship Earth on the trip in 2023, so it was nice having that chance. And I rode the ride. I didn't ride any of the rides over on the other side of the park because either waits were too long, or like they were virtual queues, individual lightning lanes. But I did get to see the Groot. I'm blanking on the word. The plants that are shaped. I'll put it up on like an image if I can't think. Topiaries. It was like the Groot topiary, and it's like little Groot, baby Groot, holding up a boombox, and like it's playing, Guardians of the Galaxy music, which was neat. So I did go over there to at least look at the area and kind of check it out. I went to Club Cool and tried all the drinks and had a cup of my favorite, the Beverly. And I'm not joking. I love the Beverly. The Beverly is a great soda. And anyone who says otherwise should, you're just wrong. The Beverly's great. And I got my picture taken with the Walt Disney like superheated Walt Disney statue in Communicore Plaza, which talk about a come down from the concept art for all of that. That place looks like the nicest park in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It does not ring of, innovation and, Imagineering. It just looks like a slightly nicer city park. And of course, the Communicore Hall was not open yet, which, I mean, you can look elsewhere. It's like a warehouse. It's a warehouse. It's like a little it's not great. It's not anywhere near what was promised, and it sucks. And they got rid of the Fountain of Nations for it, this park, and I wish they hadn't done that. It's too bad there's not a fountain there anymore. But I mean, I like Journey of Water Inspired Marijuana. It's a neat place. Kind of talks about the water cycle. So it's got that kind of Epcot mission to it, the old Epcot, where they're trying to teach you something, which is nice. But it's also fun, and it's got all water all over the place, so it's kind of cool and like literally cool there. At this point, of course, it's the middle of the day, and it was starting to get hot, and I was dragging as I rode the bus. Got to the bus. I was going to try to do all 4 parks in one day. That didn't happen. I made it to 2. I made it to Epcot, and I made it to Animal Kingdom. And basically what I did in Animal Kingdom is walk through the Oasis to Flame Tree Barbecue and had a late lunch there. And I went to It's Tough to Be a Bug. And then I was just spent. For whatever reason, I was just spent. And I was going to go back to Hollywood Studios that night. But I was just spent. I was going to have a long drive back to the north the next day. So I just went on the bus back to Pop Century and called it a night. And yeah, all in all, it was a fun trip. I highly recommend, if you have a chance to go to Disney World, Disneyland, wherever, solo, don't pass it up. Like, it's nice not having to worry about having anyone else like trying to coordinate their needs and what they want to do. You can just do whatever you want. If you want to follow your plan, you follow your plan. If you want to not follow your plan, don't. It's just your day. You choose what to do. And there's a freedom to that, and it's fun. And I highly recommend it. I wouldn't recommend, of course, the dining plan. It just won't work unless like you're really committed to all those meals, and make sure you use every one of them. Otherwise, just wing it. Just do what you want with that. I mean, if you want to get dinner reservations, get dinner reservations. But don't be locked in with the dining plan. And I mean, the thing that I should have done is each of those days is just find somewhere and sit for a few hours in the shade or in air conditioning and just relax. It would have helped me do more in some of the days. That last day in particular, I kind of wish that I had just found somewhere to sit. I mean, maybe the problem was I should have gone, I don't know. Like, Animal Kingdom kind of limits you where you can do because it's not open in the evening, so you kind of have to get it done and I was going to the breakfast at Garden Grill. And that was kind of the problem, where if I had to overdo again, I would not have tried to make Animal Kingdom the same day I was going to another park for breakfast. And Animal Kingdom should have been a morning, and I blew it both trips. I wanted to spend more time in Animal Kingdom. I wanted to spend a lot more time at Hollywood Studios. And neither of those happened, either of the trips, really that much. And honestly, if I went back, I would make those two parks my priorities, because I've already spent a good deal of time at Epcot on this past trip, and I spent plenty of time at Magic Kingdom. I'd still want to go there, especially the Magic Kingdom, because there's a bunch of rides. I'd like to ride Tiana's, and I mean, Big Thunder Mountain won't be opening up again until next year, and then of course there's the whole thing happening. Of course, there's construction at 3 of the 4 parks, have big construction projects going on now. But I would definitely make Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land a priority. I'd probably try to catch Fantasmic. I definitely want to do some of the attractions in Asia and Africa. Flight of Passage, again, my body size and shape, not conducive to doing Flight of Passage, but I would probably like to do the dark ride there. And I don't know if I would have a chance to get back. I'm not too keen on doing, it's a lot of reasons, but definitely wouldn't really enjoy going to Hall of Presidents right now. All that. But yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. I still really like the Skyliner. Like staying at the parks along the Skyliner route. Having stayed at 2 of them now, not parks, the resorts. It's a big deal. It's really nice to get you to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. I wish there was a direct connection between the buses and the monorails. Walking through Epcot, even after like the first hour or so in the day, is not fun, especially when you're not really used to the sun and the heat. But all in all, it was a great trip. I'm glad I did it. And again, I highly recommend solo trips. Alright, that just about wraps it up. Please remember to like this, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Oh, and also, we'd appreciate it if you checked out our Patreon at the URL found in the description or on the screen. As always, we thank you for watching and listening and making this place so great.